Happy Friday, everyone. Today's story is Little Miss Sunshine. Welcome to Miseryland. We say welcome, but there really isn't very much to welcome you about it. It's the most miserable place in the world. Miseryland worms look like this. And when the birds wake up in the morning in Miseryland, they don't start singing. They start crying. Oh, it really is such an awful place. And the king of Miseryland is even worse. He sits on his throne all day long with tears streaming down his face. Oh, I'm so unhappy. He keeps sobbing over and over again. Dear, oh dear, oh dear. Little Miss Sunshine had been on holiday. She'd had a lovely time and was driving home. She was whistling happily to herself as she drove along when out of the corner of her eye she saw a signpost to Miseryland. Miseryland, she thought to herself. I've never heard of that before, and she turned off down the road. She came to a sign which read, "You are now entering Miseryland." And underneath it, it said, "Smiling, laughing, chuckling and giggling are forbidden by the order of the king." Oh dear, thought Little Miss Sunshine as she drove along. She came to a huge castle door. A soldier stopped her. "What do you want?" he asked gloomily. "Well, I want to see the king," said Little Miss Sunshine. "You're under arrest," said the soldier. "But why?" asked Little Miss Sunshine. "For the most serious crime," replied the soldier. "Most serious indeed." The soldier marched Little Miss Sunshine through the huge door and across a courtyard and through another huge door and up an enormous staircase and along a corridor and through another huge door and into a gigantic room. And at the end of the gigantic room sat the king, crying his eyes out. "Your Majesty," said the soldier, bowing his head, "I law arrest this person for the most serious crime." The king stopped crying. "She smiled at me," said the soldier. There was a shocked silence. "She did what?" cried the king. "She smiled at me," repeated the soldier. "But why is smiling not allowed?" laughed Little Miss Sunshine. "And she laughed at me," cried the king. "Why not?" she chuckled. "She chuckled," said the king. Little Miss Sunshine giggled. "She giggled," went on the king. And he burst into tears again. "But why are these things not allowed?" asked Little Miss Sunshine. "Because this is Miseryland," cried the king. "And they've never been allowed before." "Oh, I was so unhappy before you arrived," he wailed. "But now I'm twice as happy, twice as unhappy." Little Miss Sunshine looked at him. "But why won't you be happy like me?" she asked. "Of course I would," cried the king. "But how can I be? This is Miseryland." Little Miss Sunshine thought. "Come on," she said. "You can talk to me like that?" sobbed the king. "Don't be silly," she replied, and led him across a gigantic room and through the huge door and along the corridor and down the enormous staircase and through the huge door and across the courtyard and through the huge door to her car. "Get in," she said. Little Miss Sunshine drove the crying king back to the large notice. "Dry your eyes," she said, and handed him a huge handkerchief from her handbag, and then from her handbag she produced a large pen. 5 minutes later she'd finished. Instead of saying, "You're now entering Miseryland," smiling, laughing, chuckling, giggling, forbidden by the order of the king, well, instead, do you know what it said now? "You are now entering Laughterland," smiling, laughing, chuckling, giggling, permitted by the order of the king. "There," said Little Miss Sunshine. "Now you can be happy." "But I don't know how to be happy," sniffed the king. "I've never tried it before." "Nonsense," said Little Miss Sunshine. "It's really very easy." She smiled. The king tried to smile. "Not bad," she laughed. The king tried to laugh. "Oh, getting there," she chuckled. The king tried to chuckle. "You've got it," she giggled. The king looked at her. "So I have," he giggled. "I'm the king of Laughterland." As Little Miss Sunshine arrived home, there was Mr. Happy, out for an evening stroll. "Hello," he grinned. "Where have you been?" "Miseryland," she replied. "Miseryland," he said. "I didn't know there was such a place." Little Miss Sunshine giggled and said, "Actually, there isn't any more. Have a great weekend."